What happens when a top chipmaker faces $1.5 billion in trade restrictions just before reporting earnings? Will AMD's record data center growth be enough to silence the bears? And if guidance misses, will tech stocks crash again? These are the billion-dollar questions as AMD gears up to release its third quarter earnings after market close on August 5th. This report could be a turning point for semiconductors, tech stocks, and even the crypto market. No matter where you live in the world, if you're trading, investing, or just curious about market-shaping trends, hit subscribe now and let's get into it. In the second quarter of 2025, AMD reported revenue of around $7.4 billion, up 27% year over year. Earnings per share came in at 48 to 49 cents, down 30% compared to last year, mainly due to margin pressure and higher research and development expenses. The real surprise, AMD's data center segment grew 57%, driven by strong demand for AI chips like the MI300 series. But there was a big red flag. AMD also revealed that China export curbs could cost $1.5 billion in lost revenue this year, and cut margins by 11%. Third quarter earnings are confirmed for August 5th after market close. Analyst expectations are for revenue of around $7.42 to $7.43 billion and earnings per share of about 48 to 49 cents. Bullish firms like UBS and Cantor expect strong AI chip momentum, Michigan 350 price hikes, and excitement around the MI400 roadmap. They even forecast earnings per share up to $7.50 by 2026. But there's caution from Jefferies and Bank of America. They say AMD stock is now overheated with a conservative outlook for China and some valuation risks present. Bank of America rates the stock neutral with a target range of $155 to $200. One of the biggest uncertainties? Will AMD get approval to resume MI308 and MI350 chip exports to China? So far, there's no clear timeline, and guidance for China remains conservative. The impact is a $1.5 billion annual hit. Watch closely during the earnings call for any hints on export licenses, an updated outlook on margins, and progress on international government approvals. So, let's talk about the possible outcomes here. In the bullish case, earnings could beat consensus, and guidance might turn out to be positive, especially when it comes to AI and China. If that happens, the stock could bounce, say, 4 to 6% or even more in the short term. On the flip side, in the bearish case, guidance could disappoint, and the China export timeline might still be uncertain. That could mean the stock drops 5 to 10%, especially if EBITDA growth slows down. Historically, AMD stock reacts pretty hard, one way or the other, on earnings day. Why does AMD's report matter even to non-investors? Well, because AMD earnings affect nvidia, Broadcom, and other chip stocks. They also move the NASDAQ and S&P tech indices, and even crypto sentiment. If AMD disappoints, you can expect Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum to follow with drops of about 3 to 5%. But if AMD beats, the crypto markets may rebound sharply, especially with BTC heading toward $118,000. Crypto, right now, remains tightly correlated with AI and tech momentum. Key metrics to watch in the third quarter report include MI350 unit pricing and demand MI400 launch updates and any rebound in gross margin. Also, keep an eye on AI infrastructure contracts and any licensing progress with the U.S. Department of Commerce. Cantor says if AMD shows a path to $7 or more EPS by 2026, the stock could hit $210. But Jefferies warns that overbought signals may pull AMD down if it fails to exceed those high expectations. If you're in crypto or stocks, here's what to think about. For traders, AMD earnings day is a real volatility event. You should watch the first 30 to 60 minutes after the market closes. High volume plus a price surge. That's usually confirmation of a breakout. For investors, look beyond just this quarter. Focus on AI adoption, export policy, and long-term EPS growth. And honestly, use any dips as an opportunity if the fundamentals remain strong. So, will AMD surprise Wall Street again? Or disappoint under the pressure of trade restrictions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Will AMD hit $210? Or correct back to $160? Either way, this earnings report could trigger a domino effect across semiconductors, tech stocks, and even crypto. If you're watching the future of AI-powered markets, don't just guess. Stay informed. Subscribe now for real-time updates and deep dives that make sense of market chaos. See you in the next one.